Okay, guys, so this video we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about airline stocks. So I noticed that there was kind of a little bit of a sell-off with airline stocks, and that's perfectly normal, saying is that some people are taking profits. The markets are basically have rebounded ever since the coronavirus sell-off. So we're going to be talking about, is this a good time to buy airline stocks, or should you wait for cheaper prices, or should you just simply hold on to your shares, guys? So before I get into this video, please smash the thumbs up button because it really helps the algorithm, and subscribe to my channel for more future videos, guys. So let's get right into it, right? So obviously we're seeing that a lot of these stocks have been pulling back a little bit. So for some people that you guys may have bought at the top, you're kind of wondering now, well, what should I do? So in this video, I'm going to be covering the 5 most popular American companies. That's Delta Airlines, United Airlines, Southwest, Spirit Airlines, and American Airlines. So with these stocks, the whole thing for me was that, I really don't like investing in airline companies anyway, because most of these companies got bailed out. Most of them got rid of their share buybacks, and most of them have gotten rid of their dividends. So for me personally, I think that this would be a short-term trade. If you guys are looking to hold these stocks, it's going to probably take at least a year or two for things to get back like they were in 2019. So what is the catalyst for these stocks? Well, it's simply airline passengers. So, the markets are very emotional, and people are reacting to the news. They're letting the news stories and the kind of the change in these companies affect their trading. So as you can see, guys, these stocks are still down basically 30 to 50% year to date. So in my opinion, they're still cheap. But what we're really looking at is a catalyst, and those catalysts will be airline passengers. So let's take a look at some of these news articles. So here's an article on Simple Flying. It says TSA tops 1.2 million screenings last weekend for the first time since March. This article is posted on June 8th. So it says the June 5th weekend was the busiest one for TSA since March. Over 1.2 million passengers passed through U.S. security checkpoints between Friday and Sunday, another sign of a rebounding domestic market. Though still far away from 2019 incredible summer for airlines, there is still a ray of hope. So as you can see here, guys, this is a very good sign. It's really impossible to figure out how many people are like flying individually for these airlines until they post numbers. But obviously, in order to get on a flight, you have to pass through TSA. So this is a good indicator that things are improving. So it says here, when will passenger travel hit the millions per day? It says this is anybody's guess. If passenger growth remains steady, then it could happen by July or August. Historically, northern summer season is one of the best for airlines. So what we're basically looking for and waiting for is basically things to open up, across the board. So right now we're not really looking at international flights, because I'm pretty sure a lot of people that had international flight plans have put them on hold due to the situation. No one really wants to travel overseas that much when there's potentially a second wave of viruses coming on. So it says here, however, the U.S. is continuing its track for opening up state by state. As more places reopen, passenger travel should continue to tick upwards. And with the upcoming July 4th U.S. Independence holiday, could be a spike in the number of travelers. So guys, this is all great news here. So what does this mean for airline stocks? Well, it simply means that this is a potential buying opportunity, I think, when it comes to airline stocks. Now, I'm not talking about stocks in general, because there's an argument that the stock market as a whole is overvalued according to the Buffett indicator, which I'm going to talk about a lot more in a future video that I'm going to be posting later this week. But I think specifically for airline stocks, I think there is a lot of opportunity here. So as I mentioned a couple months ago, when everyone was terrified of the markets, I said that this was a good time to get into airline stocks. But remember, guys, for me, if you're looking to hold these stocks for a couple of months, this is a short-term trade. Now, if you're a long-term investor, be prepared to hold these stocks well into 2021 to see any type of substantial gains. So there's a couple of ways you can play this, guys. If you already bought some a little bit at the top, this could be a good time to kind of average down your position and reduce your cost per share. And just be prepared to hold these stocks, I would say, well into July. This is more of a swing trade. So if you're looking to get like, 20, 30, 40% in a couple days, then you want to definitely look at some of those cheaper penny stocks. I think there's more volatility there. But for airline stocks, we're going to be following those TSA numbers very, very closely. And of course, it makes sense that some of these CEOs of these companies will come out and publish some letters updating how more people are flying, and that will kind of boost these stocks going higher. But I still think there's a lot of opportunity here. So for me personally, I would say as you're a long-term investor, you want to stick towards LUV, that's Southwest Airlines, and Delta Airlines. Those two have the best balance sheets. Now, if you're looking for a short-term trade, you could try some of these cheaper stocks. As you can see here, American Airlines has been one of the more popular ones that people have been trading, and Save as well. So guys, the reason why I'm not going over their earnings, because the earnings for all of these companies have been absolutely terrible because no one's been flying. But the good thing is that we should see a substantial uptick in Q3 earnings. So we're not going to see Q3 earnings released for a while now, but just remember that travel has bounced back a ton in June. So once we enter June, that was the end of Q2 and the beginning of Q3. So investors are going to respond very positively to Q3 earnings, and we aren't going to see Q3 earnings until. Okay, so I was talking about when we're going to see Q3 earnings. So I'm on Earnings Whisper. That's probably the best website that I've used that gives a lot of good information on earnings, and I like their infographics a lot. So as we can see here, they're publishing Q2 earnings for American Airlines, for example, on July 30th. So that quarter is going to be pretty bad as well, but it's not going to be as bad because more people have been flying in May, and that's going to include those in those numbers. But those strong quarters are going to be Q3 because, as you can see, TSA says we've already hit big screenings. That was the most since March. So that means this Q3 report should be in. Okay, so we should see Q3 earnings in October. So those numbers should blow away the market, and we should see a huge rebound in revenue for these companies. So I think October is definitely a date. If you guys are looking to hold on to airline stocks, that should be a date that's lingering in your mind, October, and that's probably when we're going to see these stocks kind of recover all the way fully, assuming there's not a second wave market crash, which is a possibility. So but what I would be looking for, guys, is that Q3 catalyst to kind of take these stocks back up to where they were more so in the beginning of the year, simply because as more and more people fly, you're going to see these stock prices trade even higher. So for right now, I would just be focusing on quality. If I'm a long-term investor, that would be with Delta and Southwest Airlines. And if you're looking for short-term trades, you could probably try some of those cheaper stocks like American Airlines, Save, because I think there's just more gain potential based on their low prices. But just remember that the strongest company overall out of these with the best balance sheet, the best track record is Southwest Airlines. So if I were to choose one stock that I would buy and hold out of all airlines, it would probably be Southwest Airlines, and a close second would be Delta. I think Delta is a great airline as well. So that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this content, and subscribe to my channel for more videos on airline stocks. I'm going to be covering them more in depth, especially when we see a lot of those earnings get released next month. I'll be able to give you guys a lot more information on where I think these stocks are headed in the future. So that's it until next time, guys. Take care.